Hello and welcome to part 12 of the Robin Family Stories with me, Nanny. Well, today I have two more stories for you, and they will be today about the windy weather. Because at the moment here in England it is autumn, isn't it? When all the leaves are falling off the trees and it gets very windy. So are you sitting comfortably? If you are ready, then let us begin with the first story, which is called Windy Weather. The east wind rushes through the autumn woodlands. Much to the surprise of the little woodlanders, who expected a foggy November, the east wind decided to blow a gale. All one night he roared and rampaged, making the windows rattle and the doors shake, and the trees and bushes in the woodlands bend their heads and groan. But none of this worried the little woodlanders, for they were all safely indoors. "I'm glad I haven't got to go out tonight and be blown away by the east wind," remarked Mr. Robin as he sat cosily beside the parlour fire in Tree Stump House. And Mrs. Rebecca Robin, busy with her knitting, agreed. The next morning, when the little woodlanders got up, they found that the east wind had blown down a great many branches and twigs, not to mention almost all the red, golden and brown leaves that had still been on the trees. Mr. Reginald Rook discussed the gale with old Mr. Rabbit here. Miss Olivia Owl's gardener. "Well, my job today is to collect up all the branches and twigs," said old Mr. Rabbit. "And do you know, Mr. Rook, that dratted old east wind has completely blown away that nice pile of leaves I collected for the garden. But never mind, I suppose I can always collect some more." But as it turned out, the little woodlanders were eager to help and spent all their playtime and most of their lunch break helping him. "I think," said Roly Robin to his sister Rosemary and his friends Sam Sparrow and Morris Mouse, "that I prefer collecting branches to leaves. Something like these, perhaps, that I found in my garden." And with that he picked up a knobbly branch from the oak tree in the meadow and dropped it in the little cart Mr. Rabbit had provided. "What are we going to do with all this wood?" wondered Sam. "We had a bonfire last week, so we really don't want another one yet." "We're going to deliver this to some of the elderly woodlanders," said Mr. Rook, who had overheard them. "People like old Mrs. Woodmouse, who really are a little too old to go out and collect their own." And that was what they did. The elderly woodlanders were delighted to see them and their loaded carts, and old Mrs. Woodmouse had some biscuits ready, as a thank you to the band of helpers when they had filled her woodshed to the brim. That was kind of them, wasn't it, to do that? And a good way to use up all those twigs that have fallen off the trees. So as I said, I found these in my garden. And there are lots of leaves as well. Oh dear, I better put them back here. Anyway, that brings us on to our next story today, which is also about leaves, but different kind of leaves. And see if you can see the different meaning of that word leaf in this story. Listen out for it. Are you ready? It's called Loose Leaves. When helpful baby Rowena gets the wrong end of the stick. Rosemary Robin was very pleased with her new drawing book. It had a scarlet cover, and the pages were held together by 3 silvery rings which could be snapped open and shut. "It'll be so useful, Daddy," the little robin told her father. because I will be able to get out any drawing I choose without spoiling my book. Mr. Robin agreed. I remember having one like that, he said, only I called it a loose leaf notebook. Baby Rowena Robin, who had been spending the day with her cousins and aunt and uncle at Tree Stump House, heard a little of what Rosemary and her father were saying. She thought that it was odd that anyone should want to draw or write on leaves. But just then her brother Richard called her to go for a walk with Roly and Rosemary, and she forgot all about Rosemary and her notebook until a week later. Do you know, Mummy, said Richard just before tea time, it's such a shame that Rosemary has lost 2 leaves from her drawing book because she'd drawn 2 very pretty pictures. What a pity, said his mother, Mrs. Rosabella, who was busy at the stove stirring a delicious stew. I expect she'll find them somewhere. If Rosemary doesn't, I'll find them for her, thought Rowena, and the next day, while shopping with her mother, she kept a very sharp lookout. Then suddenly she gave a squeal. There they are! There they are! And with a jump and a scamper, she picked up 2 golden brown beech leaves and scurried off down the path towards the Woodlands school. Come back, Rowena, cried a very puzzled Mrs. Rosabella, running after her. Maggie Magpie opened the school door to the baby Robin and was very puzzled too, until Rosemary, standing just behind her, explained. It's very kind of you, Rowena, Rosemary said, but the lost leaves weren't leaves from the tree, but paper leaves from my drawing book, and they've turned up now. Rowena looked a bit crestfallen, but quickly cheered up when her cousin said that the leaves were so beautiful that she would do a drawing of them in her notebook and call them Rowena's leaves. And I have a notebook also with leaves in it, because the leaves are the pages of the book. Did you get that in the story? So we have leaves in a book with all the pages, and then we have the leaves that we find that fall off the trees. And we also had the wind, didn't we? Shall we pretend to be the wind blowing the branches off the trees? Now, wind is one word, but we can spell it the same and say it different if we say wind. Wind, here's the wind, but we can wind the bobbin up. We can wind the string up. Wind. And that brings us on to our final little song to finish our story time today. It's called Wind the Bobbin Up. Are you ready? Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Wind it back again, wind it back again, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, point to the door. Put your hands together, 1, 2, 3. Put your hands upon your knees. Let's sing that again and you join in. Ready? Wind the bobbin up, wind the bobbin up, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Wind it back again, wind it back again, pull, pull, clap, clap, clap. Point to the ceiling, point to the floor, point to the window, point to the door. Clap your hands together, 1, 2, 3. Put your hands upon your knees. Well, that's all from me, Nanny, today for our 12th part of the Robin instalment stories, and I do hope you enjoyed that and that you give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and do join me again next time. And you can watch the other instalments from the previous stories I've told if you have a look at my page. So thank you for watching and have a lovely day. Bye for now.